Second Historical and Architectural Review Board meeting. Today we have two projects. I want to read an opening statement and then we'll get into the projects. I like to start things with kind of remembering why we're here and putting it out there for everybody to remember. The Historical and Architectural Review Board, Harb, was created to protect and enhance the North Wayne Historic District for the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the public through preservation, protection, and regulation of buildings of historic interest or importance within the district, and to safeguard elements of architectural history throughout the district, which have been determined to be of historic significance. Under provisions of the Historic Ordinance, the Harb serves to review applications for the construction, addition, or demolition of any principal building or any additions or accessory buildings. And we have three districts: the North Wayne Historic District, the Luella Court Historic District, and the South Wayne Historic District. And just a reminder that our reviews are solely historic in nature. We are to be considering only those matters that are pertinent to the preservation of the historic aspects of each of these districts certified to have historical significance. So that's kind of our charge, and that's what we're considering tonight. So the first project is, I don't have any number on this.
424.
Yeah, there's no application number. But it's 424 Luella Avenue. If someone is here to present, please come introduce yourself. Remember to speak into the microphones. We have wireless ones if we need them. And tell us what you're doing, some history. This is a fascinating building, so tell us all about it.
Okay, we'll do that. My name is Reen Huffman. I'm a registered architect, and we have been engaged by the owner of the, I guess it was originally the Allen Reed Estates Carriage House. We believe it dates to 1899. The house itself, the Allen Reed House, I think has a date of 1898. If you'd like, I have just a brief description that the owner prepared, and she's lived there for quite a while and has done some research, and I'd like to pass that out if that's okay.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So a brief history of the carriage house, and I'm sure you're pretty familiar with the building. It's pretty prominent and an important building in that part of South Wayne. The carriage house is done in a English Renaissance revival style, and that style is typified by half timbering. There's a pebble dash infill stucco panel between the timbers. We have a polychromal brick foundation, and pretty much the first floor that is comprising the whole carriage house exhibits a diamond or a diapering pattern within the polychromal brick. And it's fairly evident in all the original portions of the carriage house, not so much so in some areas that were renovated about 2002 and 2003, I believe. At that point, there were some garage doors added to the south side, two doors, and those doors led into what was, I believe, a cow stall and a cart shed, but it was all part of the original structure under the same roof. At that time, in that renovation, I guess they anticipated that would be adequate for a garage. What we found, or what the owner found shortly after moving in, is that you can't fit a car in the garage. Right now, the garage has a clear, from the face of the inside face of the door to the back wall, which is a little bit of issue with that as well, is 15 feet 8 inches. Most subcompact cars are probably about 15 foot, 14.9 to 15.3. When you get into compact cars, they start to run up to about 16.8, and this is information from the American Automobile Association. Luxury and full-size cars are 16 foot and up, and SUVs run 18 foot and above. So right now, what is defined as 2 garage stalls are pretty much not usable unless you had a very small car, like a smart car or maybe the smallest of compacts. So the owner came to us and said, you know, what am I to do? And because it's such a great building, we looked at 2 things. We said, well, we could go to the south and modify the area where the doors were added and put in an addition there, or, and what we came to believe is the most sensitive solution, we can go to the north side, actually dig into the ground and extend the garage underground basically, and then on top of what will become the usable area for where the hoods of the car are pulled in, we were going to propose to put a raised terrace or a raised balcony. And that's what our drawings reflect if you look at the drawings that we submitted as part of our application. So then the next thing, we knew that that's probably a little bit more expensive because there's grading issues, but we also knew that by doing that we could reclaim some brick that probably is already there, and the problem of matching brick is at least somewhat addressed. I don't know we're going to have enough volume, but certainly we're going to salvage whatever brick we can. So any new brick work will be using reclaimed brick or something that closely matches. The polychromal pattern does occur across the whole north side of the carriage house. So we know we're going to get glazed headers. There's about 3 colors that are in there. So we hope to replicate that pattern as well. The existing carriage house has coining on the corners as well, brick coins. That's going to be replicated in the details of the raised terrace or balcony as well. And the other feature that we're carrying from the carriage house to the details of the new raised balcony would be the heavy timbering and wood corbels. So all these are elements that appear on the existing carriage house. And then finally, we took what is now an existing gable on the north side, and it has 2 windows that are in need of replacement, and we're proposing to replace that with 2 French doors, or a pair of in-swinging French doors. And those French doors would lead to a platform and some steps that go down to the main level of this raised terrace or balcony. The reason we're stepping down to that balcony surface is there's a huge timber that runs across the whole back of the house, the whole north side, the whole back of the carriage house, and it has projected corbels that, if not functional, give the image that they're functional, and we want to preserve that feature as well. It's just such a strong feature. So normally where you might say it would be really nice to step right out to a balcony, in this case we're going to step out to a platform and then step down to preserve that through feature, that structural feature. The balcony itself sticks out 7 feet. That gives us 22-foot clear inside the new garage, which is pretty much a standard that I think most modern houses would look upon that as a minimum. We are confronted by a setback on that side of the house, on the north side. It's a 25-foot setback. From our understanding, talking to the zoning officer, we're allowed to have a frame set of stairs there. We can't have something that requires a masonry wall or something of that nature. So that's why we have a transition from a brick structure at the balcony itself to a frame stair which goes to a common landing and splits going east and west. The other concern that we wanted to address for our client, right now there's no way that the north yard or the back of the carriage house is accessible to any guests, and they actually have a terrace all the way on the west side. So we thought it might be advantageous to kind of have a set of stairs that lead to this terrace or this new balcony and a raised terrace, and then also give us access to the rest of the yard. We're also working around a very large tree in the backyard, and that dictated where the stairs go. So that's pretty much the constraints of the project. We did add a man door. You'll see that on our new east elevation. It's a rounded head. It's going to have arches. That's a double row lock that's going to match the arched windows on the same facade. So I think that pretty much describes how the project came into our hands, what we felt we had to address to make it sympathetic to the structure, and also meet the client's needs. So are there
you.
any questions, or do you need any elaboration?
Can you quickly go through your drawings and just kind of point out the different things?
Sure.
I mean, it was a great explanation, but visuals will
Sure.
help everybody as well.
Should I keep it like flat here? so
That's,
it doesn't-
yeah, just as long as the screen, you can see it on the screen, yeah.
So this elevation that I'm pointing to now, that's the east elevation. That faces Llewellyn Avenue, okay?
Right.
And the garage doors would be on this face, which face the south, the existing garage.
Let me get something talking to, give him a microphone.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
I'll
sorry, I
just do
didn't
one of
realize it.
these. So,
Would you like one of these, or is
Nah,
that,
it's
would that be
even
helpful?
better. Or a pointer.
It's all there.
Okay, you got it all. Okay, this will work. So the garage doors are on this face, which is the south face of the carriage house. The east face is this section here, from this coin at the corner to this coin. This is the addition. From this point to here is 7 feet, which we've added. That gives us 22 feet inside. We added a man door. We have a rounded door because there's a double row lock arch heads on these windows and throughout the back on the north side, and we're going to match that detail as well. The cross diapering of the brick and the glazed headers occur on this face. We'll carry it to this face as well. We pulled back this addition on the side to reveal the existing coins. So the original coins will be revealed. We pull back the balcony so that our new coins are clear of the existing coins. The new balcony deck is here. New French doors here. This is the north side, this elevation. And this is the landing that brings us down. This is the heavy timber, which is almost like a waste timber here, and corbels that support it visually and I think structurally as well. And that's the detail we wanted to preserve going across here. This is the stairs down to a common landing and down to a stair leading to the west lawn and to the east lawn. On this side, which is the east side, Llewellyn Avenue, we have a set of masonry steps, and that shows up in the site plan, and I'll review the site plan next. So those are the elements we're trying to tie together. We really haven't changed anything within the roof form. The only thing we're adding is the foundation for our new deck and balcony system, and changing a window that's here in this gable to a French door.
Okay.
And if you like, I'll review the site plan as well. Or are there questions on this
Or the plan
first?
itself. I mean,
Okay.
I think the plan itself might be
Sure.
clearer for everybody. Perfect.
Okay, so this is drawing A1 in your package, and it's a plan view. So with the top drawing, toward the top of your page, is the ground floor or the garage level of what is here. These are existing walls, which are defined by the walls without any shading. 2 existing garage doors that are on the south side. This is where the old wall, the back wall or the north wall of the garage is located now. We're going to remove that. It gets replaced by a steel beam, and then we have a system with a membrane roof above it, a joist system that's going to support the new balcony. This gives us 22 feet from the inside face to this face for clear use of the garage for automobiles. It's not an ideal situation in that because there's offsets, the cars will actually have to be slightly angled after they're kind of pulled in halfway, and those offsets are here and here. But we really need those offsets for support and to ensure that the existing corners of the carriage house are going to remain stable. This is this area, which you see the dashed lines, those are the joists that are supporting the floor system above. And then this area, which is kind of like this amoeba shape, is the footing and foundation for the stairs. And the stairs themselves, if you go to the drawing on the bottom of the sheet, you'll see the configuration of the stairs. Those stairs are going to have brick risers, which would match the brick of the carriage house, and they're going to have a bluestone or a slate tread. Those stairs are going to have a wrought iron railing that leads up to an upper level, and then the frame stairs come out from the east side and the west side to a common landing and go up to the main balcony level. 3-foot rail by code, 4-inch space maximum between balusters. Balusters will be square to match the balusters that are already on the old loading doors, which are on the east side of the carriage house.
Are they all dark timber as well, like everything?
They are. Everything is like almost like an espresso colored timber. So all colors will match. All sashes of windows will match.
Mhm.
And if you'd like, I can just review quickly the site plan. So it shows the carriage house in this area attached. This area is the new balcony deck, and the setback is dashed here, 25 feet from this side yard, continues here. The masonry steps actually hug or are right against the setback because we're allowed to have it there, but then the frame steps are actually a 2-foot intrusion, which we were told we were allowed to have into the side yard setback. So instead of 25, we're probably at 23 feet on this face where those steps are.
It looks like there's a hint of a lot of evergreens or something on the, I guess that's the west.
Yeah, on this,
Is that the west side?
the north side
North
is
side,
this.
North side.
Yeah.
I mean, the way this property originally was laid out, that was an open field to the house. And if you look at this property now, it's like a keyhole from Luella to this magnificent building.
And I think we took photos and submitted those that kind of show that.
Yeah.
The building you're talking about is the carriage house or the Allen Reed
Well,
house?
both of the houses, that was one property, obviously, but this one, as it is today, is, its own individual, self-contained piece. And
That's correct.
so this particular addition really is not going to be visible to much at all. It's set in the ground. It's gracefully coming to grade as it comes around to the east side. And I think in terms of what it's trying to do an adaptive reuse for a building and make it, reusable for a family, I think you've done a magnificent job on
Great.
on
Well, thank you.
nestling it in the ground, using the similar materials, and there's a cadence of windows along that side, which, that side's a mile long, so you
It
still have
is.
that cadence
It
available.
is. The cadence is preserved from the deck out, and by preserving the corner coins and missing the nearest windows, that it's actually like a couplet, the cadence, I think we kind of preserve that as well.
And the fact that you clearly are able to see what was original, that shape.
Right.
That
And-
end shape, so.
Yeah, and I think our fear was if we did something on the south side, probably a little clumsier to pull that off, and you'd almost have to make it look like it was original, and I think that would be a little bogus in
I
this
think
case.
I like this solution
Thank you.
very
I was
much.
going to say, I love the fact that it's a new entity that adds to the original without taking away in a really nice way.
Thank you.
I think personally, one of the things I really liked about the addition is that, at least for that one wing of the carriage house, looking at it from the street, it actually makes it look like a house. Reuses of carriage houses are oftentimes very difficult, and you can see an addition which blends, but it still looks like a carriage house. You have an entryway now that's making it look like a real house.
Well,
And it's a subtle thing that you did there, but it's amazing.
Yeah, and it is a long building, as Mr. Lacy pointed out. It goes forever.
Yeah. I have, after you're done, I have an old picture you probably already have, but I want to show it to you because it really does show that.
Great.
That whole facade, when that was a field, and you're looking
Yeah,
across.
I'd love to see that.
But anyhow, that's, Andrea, anything?
Yeah, I just have one quick question. When I look at the street front elevation,
Mhm.
Will you be excavating, now it shows where the land is currently.
It does.
And so you'll be excavating below that, is that right?
That's correct.
On the original building, does the brick go down that far, or will you be reconstructing the building?
Well, we assume the brick does go down, but we don't know if it's been degraded as it goes down because of moisture typically back then, they would have just installed a foundation, brought the brick up, piled the dirt against the brick. We don't know how that brick's fared, so we know that we're going to have to kind of examine all that. But we're going to carefully pull that away, and then that brick, will be repointed as needed. But we know that we might have to do some work, and anticipation of that, we even show on that elevation a little bit of a planter that is there,
Yeah.
hoping that we might hide some of the degraded brick, or if we find there isn't brick, be able to kind of disguise that fact.
And so you'll take the brick from the north side and use that, use that in the front first, and then if you have more left over, you'll go
Right,
around
I
it.
think, exactly. What we would do is we would use the reclaimed brick as much as we can on the Luella side, and then build our corner coin of the new balcony terrace, and then turn the corner where it's not quite as visible to anyone else, and it has kind of the flanking stairs that filter it a bit. And I think that's how we're going to approach it. It'll be tedious, but I think it'll be worth it, so, when it's
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Well, they did something similar to that on the building, on the house across the street down on the corner, where they took stone from the back of the house and built an addition with the existing stone from the back of the house, and it really looks great.
Right, and then they have a little bit of freedom on the backside to
Yeah.
replace it with something not quite as,
Right. Right.
sensitive perhaps.
Yeah, but I think it's a really nice job.
Thank you.
I do think that in reuse projects, it's great to match all the materials and the designs and so forth of the brick and the details. But I do think that it is a reuse project, and because it's a reuse project, even though you're adding basically the same width to the new addition is basically the same width as the existing facade. It's done really well, and it's set back, so I think it's a really good project. It
Thank you.
sounds
Thank
like
you
a
very
good
much.
project. Yeah.
Is there, I can't really see it on the pictures, but what's going on with the garage doors? Are they being replaced, or?
No, actually, they were installed like in 2003, I believe. So
Oh, okay.
as far as I know, they're in good repair, and I think we're going to try to use those. If we did have to replace them, they'll be replaced with a carriage-style door, though, that would be appropriate to the house, to the carriage house.
Okay.
They're big.
Yeah, they kind of look big, but it's hard,
Yeah.
hard to tell from the side
Yeah, yeah.
shot.
I think it's interesting, too, that you're doing a reuse of a reuse.
Yeah, we are kind of recycling a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second one's in.
All right.
But, I mean, I don't know how much it was modified, up until the 50s, as the owner kind of points out in this kind of description, which is interesting reading. We're not sure, ownership-wise, who was doing what. She thinks that two people, and she has their name listed in here, lived as the caretakers for the animals, and then later for the cars, the carriages and the cars. So it's rather interesting that she's dug up that material. But that, of course, has changed in a huge way with the renovations of 2003.
Yeah. Well, they did a beautiful job, I think, in the renovations of 2003.
They did an excellent job, and I think
That was
it
beautiful.
won some major awards, and national awards, actually.
Yeah, it
So-
won a historic
Yeah, we have
local
a
award,
copy
too.
of that with us if you
Yeah.
want to see that, that the owner supplied us with that. So it was
One-
nicely done.
One thing I might mention, and this doesn't have anything to do with the Harb at all, but there's a new historic plaque program through the Radnor Historical Society.
Okay.
And this building, all the buildings, well, not all, but all the contributing buildings that are in good repair are eligible for
Okay.
a bronze 7x11 plaque. They're really nice. They basically give a little bit of the history. They say the name of the building, the date it was built, the architect, for this particular house anyway.
Yeah, the
because
architect
we
was
know that.
William Price, who was
Yeah.
a well-known architect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They get
So
better things.
they might want to, it would be just a nice gesture to perhaps get a plaque.
I will mention that to the owner.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, William Price is even better known for his like arts and crafts style houses
Yeah.
in
That's
Rose
true.
Valley.
That's a
But
good
you're
point.
getting that Frank Furness push.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this one.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it was the Palladio Awards I got something.
It was the Palladio Awards. That we have a copy of it, I believe. Do you have that, Brian?
And another mention is that there's the presentation of what you submitted, where you have a key plan, which is the site plan, and pictures that follow that plan. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, well, I hope
And
that proved
it helps a
helpful.
lot, and we appreciate it. We just
No,
want to let you
you're
know
quite
that.
welcome.
Yeah, I think that the pictures were really well done.
And I don't know, this might be her own copy, but it's certainly,
Interesting.
2005
Oh, right.
Palladio Awards is what it won.
Oh, I can look that up. It's gorgeous.
Got to give credit to Archer and Buchanan, they were the architects for that. so.
Definitely.
Yeah, they did a great job.
It was an excellent job, and the building wasn't without some structural issues, too. There was some major leaning on chimneys still going on there that are kind of tied in with some steel work. But it definitely wasn't the easiest of projects, I'm sure. And, you know, this will not be the easiest of projects with how we have to kind of pull it apart slowly and peck away at it. But we have to needle the wall and support it with steel while we're putting the new steel beam in. So it'll be an interesting operation. We'll try to document that for the township.
I
That'd
think
be
that's,
great.
that'd be great, yeah.
All right,
Anybody else?
any other questions?
Thank you so much.
I don't think so.
Motion?
Motion to recommend a certificate of appropriateness?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have 5-2, none.
Great, thank you very much for your time.
That
you.
Thank you.
is our approval.
I would love a copy of
We will have a copy sent to,
that.
I think I have that.
Oh, do you have it?
Here.
It'd be nice to have that for this.
I can get you copies. How many would you like?
You just,
Get one for the staff.
well,
I
that
mean,
one's
it's
pretty.
not as extensive.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
this-
you this big one.
That's the picture I was talking
Oh,
about.
that's nice.
Isn't great.
So those,
Yeah.
So just for the record, we've made an approval, what that do? We've made a recommendation for approval for the appropriateness, and you realize you still have to go through all the other,
Of course.
and
We just
the,
knew this was our first
yeah,
stop.
the commissioners will vote on it
Right.
and look at our recommendation. That's the next step.
Okay.
They'll agree or not agree.
Okay.
And at that point, it's official from us. And then and I don't know when that next meeting is, Ray, do you know? Okay.
Okay. And so do we have to do anything as far as further submissions till they vote on it? Do you need anything else?
I think
No,
we just take what
this-
we have and vote.
We've approved this set of plans.
Okay.
If anything gets, if it strays off of this, there may be something to come back to, but,
No, that's pretty much.
you know, that's the only reason it would come back.
There were quite a few iterations to get there. so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, great.
All right?
Thanks
Well,
so
thank
much.
you.
Who should I mail copies to?
Should we just have a copy sent to the township and we can?
Yeah, just to the township,
I think so.
attention Harb. That's it.
Harb, we'll figure it out. I
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I was just looking at your profile up here.
This is mine, yes.
Okay, let's shift gears here. Okay, second project is application 11-24, 218 Lansdowne Avenue. Renovation of attached garage into a mudroom, utility room, and sitting area, and the construction of an accessory building, which is a detached garage. Can you introduce yourself and?
Sure. Good evening. I'm Dave Yeager, owner of 218 Lansdowne, and my wife is here as well, Elizabeth. She's also co-owner. As described, what you have is, well, we've been in the house for a little bit over 2 years now, and I think you have before you a number of the photographs that might help give you some context of the neighborhood as well as all four sides of the house. What we would like to do is to expand into the attached garage area, which was an addition. It's not part of the original house, as you can tell. In architecture design, it looks very different from the Victorian style of our house. What we would like to do is expand the kitchen into that garage area, add a mudroom as well as a sitting area, utility area. And to replace the garage, we propose a detached garage in the rear of the property. Just for context, This is the proposed structure, but it's within the existing envelope of the current garage that's there now. So the kitchen area is in this portion of the building. We'd like to expand that back to some part of where the existing garage is now, add a mudroom, utility area, and a sitting area. And to replace that garage with a detached structure at the head of the existing driveway. So that's essentially it. In terms of the architecture itself, what we would like to do is essentially match everything that you see in the existing building in terms of character, in terms of form. Just to give you your orientation, this is an elevation as if you're looking from the driveway, looking to the side of the house. You can see in the plan a dashed line of where the existing garage currently sits. And this form here is the new proposed structure. And what we would like to do is, rather than have a flat roof configuration, which clearly isn't in keeping with the architecture of the existing building, is add a hip-style roof, which is also reminiscent of other features of the building. This is another view from the other side of the house. Again, you see that hip roof form, and as this is looking into the sitting area. What you'll also notice, too, is that in terms of the windows, we really would like to match the existing design of the windows that are in the building currently. They would be aluminum, wood windows, aluminum exterior. On the inside, there'd be wood, simulated divided light. So really, again, reminiscent of the existing architecture that we see here. The siding would also match the existing siding in look. It would be a hardy plank kind of product rather than the wood clapboard. The roof would be an architectural style shingle, asphalt shingle roof. Again, trying to be sympathetic to the building. Actually, the existing roof of the building is a cedar roof. We had it checked out. It looks like it may have anywhere from 5 to 10 years left, so it's on its last legs right now. So if we were to replace the shingle roof, we would replace it with asphalt, an architectural design shingle. This is a view from the rear of the property. Again, you can certainly see that compared to what's existing now, as you look at the existing photographs from the rear of the property, it's, I think, we hope you agree, that it's much more sympathetic and in context to the rest of the architecture. And that's really essentially it.
Could you just put the picture up that shows the existing garage?
Sure.
I think it's numbered 24. Just so that everyone can see that.
Yeah, 23 and 24.
Yes. These two photographs are from the rear of the property. This one probably shows it best. Don't really know when this was added. By my guess, could be 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even 1960s, but clearly was not done in context to the existing architecture. Would you like to see, what I should show you is also the design of the garage, detached garage.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to see that?
Yeah, thanks.
And you're also relocating the side entrance as well? That's on the garage?
Yes, that's actually a good point. We're sliding it where, right now, you see the dashed lines of where it is currently. We're sliding it further down as the kitchen gets expanded. This is a powder room in this area, so we would add another window, which would really replicate what you see there currently. And that same existing form is essentially being replicated and slid down. The garage is, again, done more in context with the architecture of the existing house as best as we can. Again, similar materials. This would be hardy plank, but again, to match in size of what the existing house clapboard looks like. Architectural asphalt shingles. We tried to borrow some of the imagery of the Victorian building. I mean, as you can see, typical Victorian sort of architecture, there's a lot of different styles of window treatments and so on. So we thought we'd take one of the style of windows that we currently have in our house and try to replicate that in some way as a gesture.
On the drawing, the windows in the corner of the renovated garage. I mean, yeah, that's it. That's yeah. Right. The 4 windows, yeah, or the 3 windows, either one. What is that structure underneath them? The materials?
Underneath the windows?
Yeah.
This is, the architect felt strongly that he would like to essentially, I know the symbol doesn't work. It's essentially wood panel.
Okay,
Oh,
that makes sense.
So the larger block is,
It's a flat panel.
Yes.
Like a
Yes,
solid,
Trying
solid.
to, millwork, trying to add some detailing.
but they're just, yeah, it's butted together on a slant, like
That's right.
4 or 5 inch
You know,
wide.
There'll be some,
And directly underneath that, what is that little rectangle that's shaded?
you
Right,
see
that
this?
over.
Yes, you
Underneath
see,
the plant, yeah.
what that is venting to the crawl space underneath. This
Oh.
is essentially the finished floor. The floor on the first floor is being continued throughout.
Okay.
So because this is essentially a crawl space, we do need to get some air circulation underneath. This was lattice work that was done. What we're trying to do is create some sort of wooden louver panel that's painted, that matches the siding.
Just from the pictures, it doesn't appear that any of this is, can be seen from the street. Or you'd
Right.
have to,
I think at one sort of angle, you might be able to catch some of this garage, but with the vegetation that
oh,
you see.
yeah, not the detached garage. I know you could probably see a little piece of that if you look down a driveway. but
Right.
The
but-
the existing attached garage, it doesn't seem that you'd be able to see that from the street.
Right, you would not be able to see anything that's being done back here from the street.
Yeah, I like the circular window that you put into the garage. I mean, it gives a little bit of a whimsy, like you have on the other side, and actually probably winds up doing a lot more than you think to that space where the garage is, because you just have maybe a normal window there, or no window at all, and when you're standing in that space, which is next to the house and the back entrance to the house, it just adds a nice little architectural touch that doesn't just say, here's a garage.
Yeah, thank you. That was something that was
like
very
that.
important to us. And
Could you put up picture number 15 to sort of emphasize that a little bit?
I see.
And can you comment on the flag window at all?
Yeah, isn't that neat?
That's great.
At nighttime, it lights up as you're driving down Lansdowne. It's really neat. The story behind this.
Yeah,
is-
can you center 15 in as you look up there so you can really zoom in on that, because it's kind of backwards how you're feeling. Yeah, go the other way a little bit. Keep going.
To your left.
Yeah.
There you go.
He
We
can-
good?
If you get
Straighten
right in
it
the
up.
center of the screen, he can zoom in really tight.
Okay. There's a story behind this window. Actually, there's a story behind this house. When it was built, we think it was built 1880s, 1890s. And the house was a wedding present for his daughter. And he had 3
There's a lot of that going around in Wayne.
Yeah, yeah. He had 3 children. This was the oldest child. And in addition to buying the house, he decided to surprise her with this wonderful window. Well, it was a wonderful thing. And of course, his next one in line was his second oldest daughter, who was also married. And he built the house next to us down the street, which is the sort of ochre color window, same sort of design. But perhaps it didn't have as much detail, or at least didn't have this sort of ribbon window. And the youngest was a son, and he built the third house, which was adjacent, going down Lansdowne Avenue, but much more modest. So the son was sort of and also third in line. Perhaps
Right.
he ran out of money by this point in time. But just a wonderful little story of how these houses really came to be.
Do the two girls' houses both have this style window?
No, I guess she was the favorite. She's
That
the
was
only
the
one
one.
that had the ribbon window.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the other house did not get this ribbon window.
Do you have
Well,
a
I-
stairway that goes?
Yes, that's
Is
actually
there
a
a stairway
stair
there?
that goes
Yeah.
up to the second floor.
Uh-huh.
So
I
It's
thought
really-
everybody would enjoy seeing that, plus I wanted them to see the circle window above that, which is what you're pulling from the
Yes.
garage.
Yes.
yes, so we thought we'd try to repeat that.
So your addition will have, all the different trim details that the rest of the house has. Everything will seamlessly cruise around.
It will.
And the garage, in as best it can, will have the same kind of detailing as well.
I'm just noticing, in a very good noticing, that the massing that you're going to add to this garage extension is going to be so much better for the entire house. I just feel like it's going to all fit together in a very nice way, and all the detailing you're using, to my mind, reflects so nicely the Victorian love of every single variety they can imagine and put in here in a very nice way. So that's a really nice way that you're reflecting that.
Thank you.
Is that really a cat door in the old garage?
It is. It is. You noticed that.
Number 27, please, put that up front. Yeah, I think it's, definitely a much better roof line and suitable for the, the rest of the house. So, I don't have any questions at all. I think it's a great job.
No?
Great.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good project, too. And I think the fact, you really don't see it from the street at all. So the fact that you are doing so much nice detail on an area that you don't see, I think is really commendable. I think it's great.
Thank you.
And again, presentation, the picture and the key, they're the things we're looking for. It helps our job, to be able to understand what you're trying to do and what the views are. This is one you can't really drive by and see because it's kind of tucked away, so this helps a lot. Any motion?
Motion to recommend a certificate of appropriateness?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Great.
You are approved.
Thank you, everyone.
Again, to reiterate, this is a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, and they have the final say. They'll review our recommendation and make their ruling, which will be, they may have a meeting this month, but that'll be your official word. And then if you don't have any zoning issues, it's building permits and all the other things you have to go through.
Yes.
You've been there, done that, I'm sure.
Yes, familiar with that. Thanks again.
But
Have a
thank
good
you very
evening.
much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
New business. I have one new thing, maybe.
Do we have any people?
Oh, any public comment on anything? Sorry. Public comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The one piece of new business I have is that we've been talking as a board about putting on the agenda a session within this meeting at the end of everything where we actually invite people to come in with preliminary project for preliminary reviews. And I think we may even want to extend that into, we're trying to be an advisory board, but we're trying to be an educational board. And I would like to sort of put that out there, if everybody would agree to this, is that if we wanted to have people come up and talk to us about potential projects or things within projects or help with materials or, thoughts of how to do things.
Or people who just want to brag about their project.
They could do that. They could come and have a show and tell.
Is it
you know.
almost like could be a sketch plan
Yeah.
Just review without any kind of,
And this would enable us to give some feedback informally before they come and do this, which is the real deal.
I think that's great.
So we were talking about maybe trying to open that up. It has to be on the agenda and shown as, this is what's happening, so everybody knows to be invited for that, and that's what it's for.
Would we call it like a working session? How would we
We'll
call
figure
it?
out how to call it, we'll have to talk with a few people about that.
So if we did that, then people could come up and their specific projects wouldn't need to be on the agenda, but the
No.
item that we will be discussing, we'll be happy to give feedback or whatever.
Yeah,
or
we
any
can't
kind
tell
of
them what to
advice.
do,
No.
but it's advice, it's,
Right.
it's information,
And it's not,
and we're not ruling on anything.
not triggering any process
No.
as approval of process, and it's
No,
not,
the triggering of the timelines is when they actually
Right.
submit the
so
application.
it's not costing anyone anything, it's more like a informal
So-
question and answer.
So that was kind of something we've been talking about, and I thought maybe we should move ahead in that
That's great.
direction. We probably need to write it up a little bit so they're guidelines, because we don't want to have, total dog and pony thing that could get out of hand. But I think it'd be a good addition to the things we're trying to do here.
I think it's great.
So that's my piece. Anything else new?
Not new.
No? How about some old business? I think we have one piece.
I guess Ray has, I have one other, after you, though.
That's your old business. You requested last month for
Yeah, that's, there's a garage. What project was that?
Oh, I remember now.
19.
Chestnut.
Oh, Lansdowne?
No, Chestnut Lane.
Yeah, 419 Chestnut, the garage, we had asked, they had a,
Right.
Yes.
The repair project.
Yeah.
they had a hipped roof or a double, no, it was a gambrel roof.
Right, and it was a gambrel roof, and we recommended that they use a
Right.
gable roof.
It wasn't even a gambrel, it was something else, but it was
Right,
not
it
an
was,
appropriate roof. We asked them to look at it again. Here's a gable roof, single gable, and
Looks good.
that looks like what we were asking for.
That's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
So we already approved that one, we just wanted an update, so that's the update.
So this is the,
And I think we'd asked him for some sort of glazing above the main door too, and I think he's
Mhm.
put that
Right,
in there
right.
too, so that's good.
this documents what was discussed.
Yep.
That's really a nice design they did.
It is nice.
It is, it's simple,
Yeah.
but it's nice.
Simple, but it kind of fits the house, too.
Yeah.
All right, 419 Chestnut, okay. Anything else?
I was just going to mention, and kind of what you were just talking about is a piece of it, but we've, many meetings, probably over the last year or so, mentioned potential improvements, clarifications on our ordinance, and some of them were procedural, and some of them were just clearing up language. And I think we all probably have mentioned 3 or 4, each one of us.
Right.
We've never consolidated all of them in a draft to say, here's improvements we'd like to do. And I'm just thinking maybe I can either try to collect them all that I can find, and bring it to the next meeting to say, let's look at some of these clarifications. So
Okay.
I just feel they're kind of, they get mentioned, we
I
like them.
think it would be helpful. Haven't done it in quite some time.
Mhm.
Obviously, I don't want to be going back to the board every
Right.
couple of months with a new
So let's-
idea,
Right,
so.
so let's pull them together and then pick the ones we really all feel this would help clarify things. And we'll figure out how we approach who for amending it.
All right,
Mhm.
sounds good to me. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, I move to adjourn, unless you've got something.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
We had a discussion last month about the word demolition. And between the 5 of you, you couldn't come up with a definition. I suggest if you're going to start
That's a good.
redoing your ordinance and rewriting everything, what you need to do is maybe look at some definitions to clear that stuff up.
That's a good one.
Because it doesn't matter window, color, size, shape, whatever, if we can't determine whether fixing it, repairing it determines demolition or raising, then it doesn't matter what you're going to say. So
that's a
we
good
need
one.
to clear up a lot on definitions as we go.
That's a good,
That's-
good suggestion.
That's the kind of thing we're really talking about, is clarifying. That's at the top
Exactly.
of our agenda. There's about 2 or 3 issues that have come up that are ordinance-related. And that's probably at the top of the list.
That's that trigger, that's the main trigger one
Yeah.
for us, so.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ray. All right, I move we adjourn. Anybody second?
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Yep.